Her body will belong to her killer. The Dangers in My Heart has been way up at the top of my most anticipated releases for spring 2023, and it wastes absolutely zero time getting the ball rolling. We're 1 minute and 30 seconds in when this gem of a thought enters Kyotaro's head. And if you think this is the beginning or the end of the crazy thoughts chilling in our lead character's mind, think again. The way that they have set the opening sequence up is brilliant. Because while we're clearly in the imagination and perspective of an edgy middle school boy, the atmosphere and sound design take him seriously. Organ music that could announce the arrival of an RPG supervillain swirls in the background. Our leading lady, Anna, is shown in Kyotaro's mind in a beautiful colorscape of dark blue, rose, and white as she lays suspended in midair. And all the while, he and his classmates are just chilling in homeroom. Him, daydreaming about their horrific demise, while they clamor on about getting with a girl, eating junk food, or whatever other hijinks young teens get up to. The contrast is striking and highlights one of the more core themes of the story. There is who we think we are, and there is who our actions show us to be. For a guy who daydreams about Anna's corpse, the show does a good job at balancing that out by showing us a variety of situations where he does things to help her. He lends her his box cutter, the weapon of her undoing in his imagination, to work on a school project. When her friends redo the chart she made for the project, and he can see that it has her upset, he causes a distraction so they won't see her cry. When her overenthusiasm scares away people from buying a magazine she's on the cover of, he buys a copy to make up for the lost sale. When a guy is trying to get her number and won't take no for an answer, Kyotaro throws his bike, causing it to land in the river, so Anna's friends can show up. Because in school, a group of girls always makes a guy bugger off. This dude is totally smitten, and he has no freaking clue. It's not her corpse he wants. But he also feels that they're in two different social classes, and this obviously causes him frustration. It's not just Anna he's aware of or considerate towards, though. When it's obvious that one of the boys in his class have come to the library to ask a chubby girl named Hana out, Kyotaro beats a hasty retreat. He then helps Anna get out of there too, so the other kids can have a conversation without the boy losing his nerve. I admire the contrast between the supervillain that Kyotaro pictures himself as in his mind and the very consciously aware boy that he actually is. It makes for some fantastic comedy, and it will be interesting to see how much of that internal personality will begin to manifest externally, if he and Anna start hanging out together and that helps him come out of his shell. But what about Anna? As cool as Kyotaro is, this is romance, so she needs to be interesting in some way too. Otherwise, this is gonna get dull. Well, in contrast to how Kyotaro actually perceives her, Anna seems to have her own issues and insecurities. I figure that, in part, we are likely dealing with a bit of Queen Bee syndrome, where she seems less approachable than she is because she's got a gaggle of friends surrounding her a lot of the time. I get the feeling that while Kyotaro makes up a false image of himself in his mind and is more reserved in the real world, that Anna may turn out to be his polar opposite. A girl who has hopes and dreams about what she wants to be, but who is tied down by other people's expectations. She's a young model, which is the kind of thing that can really mess up a young girl's mind. Yet her friends don't seem to place her on a pedestal over it, if the situation with the presentation chart is anything to go off of. That actually made me feel kind of like the scene from Legally Blonde, where the mother is confused over why Elle would want to give up being second in a beauty pageant to become a lawyer. Is being a model Anna's dream? Or is it someone else compelling her? With kids seeking fame, it can be really hard to tell. I know this because I sang competitively from my early teens into my mid-30s, and my family met people who were there of their own accord, and people who were being dragged through auditions and competitions. Another interesting thing I noticed is that while Anna is more outgoing than Kyotaro is externally, she doesn't seem to share his level of awareness of what's going on around her. She fumbles her way through situations that he's able to easily recognize. This is part of the reason that we often see her being rescued by him. I hope that as the series goes on, that these two will become more comfortable being their true selves, at least around each other. My biggest concern is how they're going to be able to hold up the kind of inner monologue they have crafted for Kyotaro in the first episode, and whether they can make it entertaining, watching that be invaded by his growing and shifting feelings about Anna. What I can tell you for certain right now is this. The first episode of The Dangers in My Heart was everything I wanted it to be and more. I look forward to watching the season and seeing where it goes. If you want to watch the imagined persona of an RPG supervillain trapped in the body of an actually decent teenage boy, going through the throes of a first crush, then head on over to High Dive and watch episode 1 now. I give the first episode my highest recommendation. If you've watched The Dangers in My Heart, let me know what you thought about episode 1. Or, if you haven't, but decide to check it out, feel free to come back and share your thoughts once you do. I'm going to be here all season long sharing my thoughts on a bunch of spring 2023 anime. So, if you like hearing people talk about what they think about what they watch, click subscribe and hit the bell so you can stay up to date with my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.